Good morning. So we're starting a new set of lessons here of these videos, and the one we're doing is right here in spreadsheets with Google Sheets and Excel, and the textbook is right here, Excellent Adventures ebook. Just go ahead and right-click on that and select Open Link in New Tab, and that's going to open up the textbook for you. I'm moving a little ways out of the way because I have it open on my other screen, just so you know what's going on here. It will eventually open. There we go. See? And so I'm going to close this. You should leave it open. I just closed it to try to save a little bit of memory there. And we're going to be doing Workbook Activity 1, this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now to open it in Google Sheets, give it a minute. Just click on the blue right here. You can see I've already done this, okay? And don't worry about naming it. It's already been named Workbook Assignment 1 for you. So that basically took us in the text, in the instructions here. And the instructions says here page 12 of 89 in the textbook where you're looking for, but you're working on lesson 1, just to remind you. Okay, so it says for step 1, key in the data as shown. So the very first thing I'm going to do here is try to save you guys some work. Okay, when you copy from these when I give them to you, make sure that you are inside of these cells. Remember, these little boxes are referred to as cells. A cell is where a column and a row intersect. It is called a cell. So I'm going to move up here to the P, and you can see that I'm right over the letter P. Don't be out right where I'm at right now. You need to be over the letter. Okay, otherwise it's not going to work right. Now I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down. I'm going to drag all the way down to this box right here. Don't go that far. You're dragging to here. Now I'm going to release the left mouse button. I'm just going to copy Control C. I'm going to come over here to our text or to our worksheet, Control V. Okay, so we've done a lot of that for you. Now, the next thing we're going to do is adjust column width because you can see what happens when you open. I'm going to click somewhere just in that selection. So I just click somewhere to get rid of that selection so you guys can see what I'm doing here. When there's something overlapping a word, that cell to the right of it covers the word. Okay, the words are all the way out because there's nothing in these cells yet. But I want to work on these cells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my cursor between the A and the B. And you can see when I move it between the A and the B, you see that little two-pointed arrow. When it's there, I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down, and I'm just going to pull to the right until stuff is visible. There we go. Good. The longest words here were advertising and maintenance. Now, the reason I didn't do it I'll show you what I'm going to do next, and then I'll tell you why I didn't do it in column A. Now I'm going to move between the B and the C. This time, I'm simply going to double click, and it's going to automatically pull that to the widest thing. Now, the reason I didn't do that in column A, and I will say that I saw a few people make that mistake in the assessment. Make sure you do it that you manually resize. The reason I didn't do it is if I had done that, it comes all the way out to here, and that doesn't. It just makes it wider for no particularly good reason. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here with Office Phone. Okay, now let me look back at our example here. Yeah, so I don't want you putting stuff here in D5, and I want to show you why. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. You see this formula I gave you right here. Do not copy D5. So what I'm going to do is click somewhere. Good. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to copy this all the way to the equal sign. You see the equal sign there. Copy, Control C. Come back here, click, Control V. And that is not what I want. Yeah, it is. Okay, and I am in the process of looking to see what went wrong. Oh, okay. What went wrong, and that's not a big deal, is I pasted this into this cell, and I didn't notice I had a blank line up here. And that sometimes will happen when we're copying stuff from Canvas. It's just a weirdness of Canvas. If you have a blank row in row 1 right here, and I am going to get rid of this, okay, because I'll paste it when I'm done doing this. If you have a blank row right here, click on the row number, right-click on that row, and select Delete Row. If you didn't have a blank row, if in row 1 it said Park Division Contacts, perfect. You're where you're supposed to be. Let me click right here again and paste. Control V. What I just pasted in is going to save you some typing, but now I need you to fill this down. So we pasted that in. the formula now, and you'll see what it does later. Now I'm going to go to the fill box, that little tiny square right there on the bottom right-hand corner of a cell. It's called a fill box. I'm going to move my cursor over it, and you see it turns to a cross. Now what it does, I'm going to press and hold the left mouse button down, and I'm going to drag all the way down to this row here, which lines up with Scott, the very bottom row that I have information in. You notice I'm in the middle of the cell here. This is where I'm at, the middle of the cell in row D. I'm going to release the mouse button. Good. So now I filled that in. Now you might be wondering why on earth I did that. And the reason I did that is to make it a little bit easier so you don't have to do as much typing, because there will be some typing. If you look in the textbook, you're going to see the phone numbers. Now I want to show you a short way to shorten the amount of work you do typing in the phone numbers. I'm going to start typing in the first phone number here, okay? 215-5 dash. That was it. Okay, that's all I want you to type in there right now. Okay, click in that cell. I clicked somewhere else and went back to that cell. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that down using the exact same way I did with the other. Now that I've done this, it's going to make it a little bit faster to type in those phone numbers. Now, leave your cursor right here. Don't move your cursor at all. Okay. Now I'm going to click once with not moving my cursor, and I'm going to type in the phone number if it goes in that. The last 4 digits of that phone number if it go in that line. 4632. 4632. And I'm going to hit enter. You notice that moved me to the next line, but my cursor is still up here. So I'm going to click the mouse button without moving the mouse. And you see what happened, 1463. And I think I fat fingered something. 463. Enter. Click without moving the mouse. 7966. Enter. Click without moving the mouse. And we're just going to go ahead and fill the rest of these in that way. I'm going to pause this for a minute so you don't sit there watching me fill things in, because that would be awfully boring. Okay, now you see that I have all my numbers in. Yes, I did make a little change. I made this change so you wouldn't have to do as much typing. You'll notice that the park ID number matches their phone number, and that's good enough. I just didn't want you guys to be doing too much typing on this. I want you to focus on the lesson instead. So now, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm over in the book right now, and I'm scrolling back up to the instructions, having finished the typing. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do here is change the year in cell alpha 2 to be current. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click in cell column A, row 2. This is cell A2 or alpha 2. Now what they want you to see is you make the edits up here in the formula bar. So I'm going to click here in the formula bar. I'm going to backspace twice and put in, I'm doing this in 2022. I have no idea what year will be while you're viewing this. Okay, the next thing they want us to do, select cell A1, format to bold, and 14 point. Great. Okay, next thing they want us to do is select cell alpha 2 and make that italicized. Great. Okay, the next thing they want us to do is select cells A4 through delta 4. Now notice that is everything in this row, so we're going to do this the easy way. We're just going to click directly on the number 4, okay? And it says it wants those in bold and underline. Now I don't see underline right here on mine. That's not a problem. I'm going to come up here to Format, Text, and I will simply choose underline. So you see where I went, Format, Text, underline. Now they're bold and underlined. Good. Okay, what is the next thing they want us to do? That was step 5. Step 6, select cells C4 through C19 and center align. Okay, a couple of comments here. First off, that is everything in column C. So I could have just clicked on the C like we just did, but that's not what I'm going to do. I want to make sure you see how to select cells. I'm going to move my cursor to the center of cell C4. When I say the center, notice the tip of the arrow is not on an edge, it's in the center. I always get students trying to get to the right on the edge when they do this stuff, and then stuff doesn't work for them. I want you to have the tip of the cursor in the center, press and hold the left mouse button down, Drag down until you're in the center of C19 and release the left mouse button. Yes, there are other ways of selecting cells, and we'll do those later on, so that you see that there are a lot of different ways for selecting cells. Sometimes they're the one, one way is better than another. I'm going to click here on alignment, and I'm going to select center align. This is very similar to the tool you use in Google Docs all the time. Okay, guess what? We're done. So that was the end of this, with one exception. They want us to put a header on this one. A header is a portion of the document that prints on every document. And in Google, we find the header in kind of a weird place. We're going to come over here to the print command. Okay. And over here, we see headers and footers. So now I'm going to click on that drop arrow, and I'm going to come down here to edit custom fields. Okay. And right up here, and what did they want? I'm just taking a look here at what they wanted. They wanted your name, so Mr. Crawford on mine. I'm going to press the tab key, and the tab key moved me to the next header. If you're wondering how I moved over so quickly, I pressed the tab key. The tab key is the key on the left above the caps lock, and it says TAB. Okay, activity number. This was activity 1. Tab and activity title. And what's funny is I don't remember the activity title. Park Contacts 1. Park Division Contacts 1. And confirm. So now you see on the page up here, and if you had more than one page you were printing, this would be on more than one page. Okay, now this is going to sound odd. At this point, I'm just going to click on cancel because we're not really going to print right now because you're hopefully at home. If you are in class, this is the only one. Actually, I believe assignment 9 we also print, just to make sure that you see how to do the printing. But at this point, we are done. You need to go back to Canvas, and right about here, you have a box that says submit. Go ahead and turn it in.